Local boy sad today in Fishers, Indiana. Let's check in and evaluate the situation. What a tragedy. Here today to help us further understand this complex and delicate situation is Dr. Burrow. Poofed.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So, Doctor,
Yes.
can you help us explain such an anomaly?
Well, I think given the circumstances, it's safe to assume that Travis has a dopamine deficiency.
Can you help further that explanation?
Yes. Well, you see, dopamine can be referred to as the motivation molecule. Now, with this, it means that it is in charge of controlling certain emotional responses or influencing many physiological functions, as well as being tasked with, in charge of the pleasure reward system. Now, in recent studies, scientists such as myself have discovered a direct correlation between addiction, depression, and a dopamine deficiency.
How so?
Let me tell you. So to understand the full complexity of the situation, you must first know some background about dopamine. So, the chemical formula for dopamine is C8H11NO2. It originates from the amino acid tyrosine. Now, dopamine neurotransmitters in cells, they travel through each one of the 4 pathways of the brain, each one controlling a different capability or function.
I see. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief break, but we'll be right back to see how addiction and depression come into play. Are you sad? Get a dog. Welcome back. Today we've been discussing the effects of dopamine on the brain and body with Dr. Burrow. So doctor, where do depression and addiction come into play?
Well, as far as depression goes, prolonged exposure to dopamine causes a regulatory protein AKT to become inactive. Now, with this, a person under stress might act more depressed than one without the deficiency. When a person puts some sort of an addictive drug into their system, like cocaine or an amphetamine, it causes a either direct or indirect rise in dopamine levels. Yes, and which stimulates the pleasure reward system. I have not mentioned that, but it gives the brain a positive connotation of the drug, hence creating the cycle of the brain wanting more, and the addiction begins.
I see. Now, are some people more susceptible to addiction?
Yes, a difference in dopamine circuits can actually make some more susceptible to addiction, but this can be combated with higher D2 receptors.
I see. Now, can dopamine lead to struggles with mental illness outside of depression?
Well, abnormally large dopamine transmissions have been linked to both psychosis and schizophrenia. Now, both the typical and atypical antipsychotics work by inhibiting the dopamine receptors. At bipolar, it's also been linked to bipolar disorder, and at manic states, it causes people to be either hypersocial or hypersexual, or both, whatever comes from both, because of a rise in dopamine levels.
Now, can dopamine deficiencies affect parts of the body that are not the brain?
Yes, indeed, they can, actually. They can affect blood pressure and other contractions.
How does someone go about getting over something of this magnitude?
Well, there are multiple ways to kind of combat this. One of them is a certain prescribed antidepressant called NDRIs, which work to raise the dopamine levels within the system. Now, there are other methods as well, such as healthy eating, exercise daily, or just reaching out to your friends and family.
Now, are these methods that have been put into Travis's life?
I do believe so. I think he's really getting the help he needs.
Lovely. Now, we have Travis here with us today, but before we bring him out, let's check in with his current state of mind. What an outstanding improvement.
These results are just tremendous. I can't even fathom.
Now, let's bring in Travis and hear what he has to say about his own personal journey. Thank you for joining us today, Travis.
Thank you for having me.
Now, while you're here, can you go into detail about how you felt before you worked on your dopamine deficiency?
Well, before I worked on it, I struggled with everyday functions. It was hard to even get out of bed some days. I forgot to do a lot of basic responsibilities, and I got frustrated easily without thinking. Even achieving good things don't make me terribly happy. I couldn't pay attention, learn any new information, and I was often lost. I hardly even had a solid night of sleep, and my mood was never consistent.
Now, these are all very common symptoms of dopamine deficiency, as dopamine in the frontal lobes of the brain control the flow of information from other parts of the brain, which has an effect over your learning capabilities. So,
Can you further explain that for the kids at home?
yep. Now, as for you finding it difficult to move, the basal ganglia, which is the part of the brain that controls or influences motor functions, requires a certain amount of dopamine for top efficiency. So when there is a deficiency of the dopamine, it causes movements to become uncoordinated.
Now, what of the boy's memory?
Now, levels of dopamine in the brain, especially in the prefrontal cortex, help improve a working memory. Now, there can be some discrepancy because there is a delicate balance between levels when they increase and decrease, which can cause memory to suffer. Dopamine may be responsible for determining what stays in short-term memory based on an imagined response to certain information.
What a hard way to live. How are you feeling these days, Travis?
Well, I've been a lot happier lately, and I've been able to go outside more often. I'm able to do things that make me happy, be around friends, and eat happy foods. I'm able to get out of bed in the morning and go do things that make me happy. My grades have gotten better, and I've had an increase in social events. Even being around friends and family has become a regular thing nowadays.
We're just ecstatic to hear that. We're so happy you're getting better.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you both for being here today, and thank you for tuning in. You can join us next week. Here's to commercial.